I've been wanting to do this video for a while and I'm finally gonna start it. I don't know how long this will take me, but I thought it'd be a fun little like reading challenge type thing. I'm going to read books that spell my name, like the first letter of the book title correlates with each letter of my name. I have a couple ideas of books that I want to read for this, but a few will just be like kind of picked at random. I'm really excited for this.
I think I have a pretty substantial TBR shelf, like a physical TBR shelf, but like mine's not like excessive. So I only have like so many books to choose from. So I also try to include things that I've added into like my Fable like want to read. So that's what I went through. I scrolled through my entire Fable like TBR, obviously all my physical books, and then I even like was just searching like popular books or just books that started with these letters, with the letters of my name. For J, the only things I could think of was Just the Nicest Couple by Mary Kubica, Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, and Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. Just for the Summer is on Kindle Unlimited, and so I added it to my Kindle and I like just opened it just to like read like the first page or so, and I feel like I've read this book already, but it's not anywhere, like I haven't marked it anywhere as read. I don't know how I want to pick this. Maybe I'll do a random number generator and pick the book that way. Yeah, we'll do that. So Just the Nicest Couple is number 1, Just for the Summer is 2, and Jar of Hearts is 3. Alexa, pick a number between, this isn't Alexa. Pick a number between 1 and 3. 1. What was 1? Just the Nicest Couple by Mary Kubica. Okay, it's $3 on Kindle, $4 on Kindle.
I gasp and stagger backward. My hand goes to my mouth, bearing down. My brain screams at me to run. Run!
Oh, there are multiple POVs. I would have loved to hear the female POV voice, but I think I'm okay with that guy's voice. That's some credit. Awesome, we got it. Okay, so my J book is Just the Nicest Couple, and then already started my U book because I really like, listen, you can see my list if you don't believe me. Only have, my video camera died, so we're on my phone. As I was saying, I only have one U book. I don't know if it showed it on the camera, but if it didn't, I will put it in a screenshot of my spreadsheet to show you. That one U book, Us Against You by Fredrik Backman. This is the second book in the Beartown series. I read Beartown and I read I'm reading Us Against You. I'm on page 50. So far so good. It takes me a minute to get into Fredrik Backman's writing style because he writes different than like anybody else that I read, but once I get into it, I'm going. I do have a bit of trouble like wanting to read his books, at least right in the beginning. Like Beartown hooked me after a little bit, but like this one hasn't like gotten me yet, but I like it, if that makes sense. Like I know it'll get better. I am starting to get hooked on this one though. Like I am like, something just happened and I want to know what's going on. So the work that I have to do today is a lot of like transferring numbers from an Excel file to an application, so I think I can listen to my audiobook and still focus on what I have to do because it's just a lot of like copy and pasting. So I think I'm gonna try to start listening to Just the Nicest Couple today, and then I also have my 2 hours of driving today that I like to listen to an audiobook. So there's the bus. So I'll also listen to it then. So I'll keep you guys updated. My camera's dead, but I'll just do it on my phone, I guess. Yeah, I'm so excited about this challenge. I think it'll take me less time than I'm planning. It's 5 books, and a lot of them I am interested in. So we'll see. Okay, I realize I always film in my car, but my car is just like my safe space, and actually people are looking at me right now. I realize I haven't talked about the books that I'm reading in a minute. Like, it's been a minute. Not for you. It's been a couple seconds for you, but for me, it's been a minute. I think I filmed the clip on Monday or Tuesday, and now it's Saturday, and I really haven't done much reading since then. I just like, I can't get into, what even is the name? I don't even know what the name of the book is. Just the Nicest Couple. I'm having a lot of trouble getting into it, but I've been listening to it as an audiobook, so I think I'm gonna try reading it and see if I can get into it reading it and then switch back and forth between reading and my audiobook. It feels like the original plan, but I just like I'm having so much trouble. I have been reading Us Against You by Fredrik Backman for a bit. I'm not that far. I'm like a quarter of the way through, I think, but like it's been a lot of days. Yeah, I'm 26% done. I'm on page 111. And the problem is, okay, it's good. It's just like, I don't like, nothing is making me want to read the book. Like once I'm reading it, I'm happy that I'm reading it, but nothing is making me want to read it. So like, so far neither of these books is really like great. I might DNF Just the Nicest Couple, but I don't know, we'll see. I need to give it a fair shot and like read at least a couple chapters, because the chapters are pretty short. I need to read a couple chapters on my Kindle and see if maybe it's better on the Kindle. Maybe like as like reading the words instead of listening it's better. But I think what I need is just like multiple hours in a row to sit down and just read this whole book, but I don't really have that. I mean, I might have that tomorrow or tonight actually. It's like 2 o'clock right now and I'm at the store really quick because I really want avocado toast for some reason. So I'm gonna go buy some gluten-free bread and avocado and go home and make some avocado toast. But I was like away last night with my friends in Rhode Island, and so now I'm home, but it's already 2 p.m. So we're going climbing at 3:30, so like there's not a ton of time to read now, but then I don't know if we have any plans after that. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. I know that we're like a little bit busy tomorrow because we're meeting Brady's parents for breakfast, so there's just like not a ton of time to just sit and read. But hopefully tomorrow I can sit and just like get through this book. At the current moment, I'm not planning to read the 3rd book in the series because it's also like twice. Like, actually, how many pages are there? Beartown and Us Against You are pretty similar in page count. Oh, I don't have service right now. Anyway, if you like see the physical books, like Beartown is like this thick, Us Against You is this thick, and then I don't know what the 3rd one is called, or yeah, what the 3rd one is called, but it's like this big. It's a substantial book. I really want to read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, which is also a big book. Is that her name? Anyway, this is not about that. Yeah, we'll see. Might end up doing an F my J. You will power through, but I'm not loving it so far. So hopefully we have better luck with L, but I'm not reading 3 books at a time. I need to get through J and U before I start L.
Okay, I feel like there's a lot happening right now. There's so many fans on in this apartment. But before I go in a room that's a little bit quieter to chit chat, look at my outfit. I love it. We need to chat. we need to talk. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but seeing as I am the only bearer of any news here, I did in fact DNF my first book, the J book. Just the Nicest Couple. I forget who it's by. I got like a couple chapters in, and like the plot of the book is like there's these 2 couples and the wives are friends from work. They both are teachers, and then like this wife's husband goes missing. But like this wife is already, I don't even remember their names. This wife's already annoying me because she's like all freaked out about something, and she's also pregnant, and I just like, and like her husband's like trying to ask her what's wrong, and she like won't give an answer, and I'm just like, okay, like you're already annoying me. Like we're 3 chapters in, the thing that she's not telling him is the plot of the book, and I just like, I don't know, I couldn't get into it. I was listening to it on Audible. I like tried to read a little bit of it. I just like, I couldn't do it. Like, there's nothing, like, wrong with it. Like, I can't even, give, like, an exact reason why I was, like, not vibing. But the characters were already annoying me. But they weren't, like, annoying characters. They just, like, I don't know. I just, like, was not having it. And so, I DNF'd it. I'm slowly chugging through Us Against You by Frederick Bachman. Also, not fully vibing with this book, but I do want to keep reading. I'm a little over a quarter of the way done. I haven't really gotten very far in the past week, but I do have it on Kindle because it's Kindle Unlimited and I have the physical book. So I'm reading a different book right now that I'm really into. So I think once I finish that book, I'll try to get through Us Against You a bit more. I just am like, I don't know. We're kind of 0 for 2 here, but I don't want to DNF this book too. I really like haven't DNF'd anything all year, so this is kind of crazy that like the second I try to read books for a purpose, like they're not great. But I have a lot of L options, so I want to get further through Us Against You before I pick my L book. Maybe even finish it. I haven't decided yet. We'll see. I think I want to pick it before this weekend though. It's Monday today, and so I think I want to pick it before this weekend because on Friday we leave for Dallas. And so I'd like to, if it's a Kindle book especially, then I'd like to be able to just have it on my Kindle for like reading on the plane or in the hotel or whatever, like if there's time. That's my update. So far we're not doing too well. I've been trying to do this for a week now and I've read like not even a quarter of a book, so Off to a great start. My hopes are high for the later books though. Yeah, because LIA, those are pretty common names. Those are good letters for book titles, and I have a handful of options like on my physical TBR as well as a bunch of options just on my like virtual TBR. So it can only go up from here. It really can only go up from here because we started with a DNF.
Okay, so I finished the book that I'm reading, which has nothing to do with this video, and I'm still 26% done with Us Against You. I have not read that book it's probably been a week, but I'm flying tomorrow, so I'm gonna try to power through that book because I like it when I'm reading it. I just have no desire to read it, so it's like kind of, I don't know. I random number generator to pick my J book and DNF'd it. I picked my own U book and I'm not loving it, so we're gonna try a third way, and I'm gonna briefly describe the couple books that I have on the list for L books, and Brady is gonna pick which one we're reading, and maybe this will go better, but honestly, it can't go worse. Hi, Ren. Hi, bud. Oh, yes. Okay. Okay, so the first book is Lethal Dissection by Dobie Cross. A murder suspect for the dead body on her dissection table. Spunky surgeon-to-be Zora Smith races to find the truth. Then more bodies drop. First-year med student. And a dissection gone wrong at the gross anatomy lab. So there's that one. Then there's Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica. Oh, no, actually, she's who wrote the book that I DNF'd, so there's not that book. Listen for the Lie. What if you murdered your best friend and everyone else thought so too? And what if the truth doesn't matter? After Lucy's found wandering the streets covered in her best friend Savvy's blood, everyone thinks she's a murderer. Lucy and Savvy were the golden girls of their small Texas town, and we're going to Texas. Pretty smart and enviable. It's been years since that horrible night, a night Lucy can't remember anything about and has since moved to LA and started a new life. Oh, wait, a true crime podcast decides to investigate the murder, and so stuff comes up and she's forced to return to the place that she vowed to never set foot in again. Could be good. That one could be good. Love and Gelato. Very different vibe. A summer in Italy turns into a road trip across Tuscany in this sweeping New York Times bestseller filled with romance, mystery, and adventure. I just read an Italy book. I just read this. And my one complaint was how much Italian there was in it.
Very different kinds of Italy books, I think. You know, Love and Gelato versus My Family Has Been Kidnapped and Is Being Threatened at Knife Point.
You might have a point. That is one of the banned books that I've had on my list to read. And then finally, Love, Mom. This is the one that you found for me at the bookstore. It's basically this mom is like famous and then she dies, is murdered, something happens, and at the funeral the daughter is like given like a letter or something, and I forget what it says. Like it's like, I don't know, I think the mom has like secrets and she starts to get it. The envelope is signed from #1 fan XOXO, and then inside the envelope are some pages of the mom's diary, and it starts with want to know a secret, love, Mom, and then letters like keep coming with pages of the diary from the mother.
Here's the breakdown I got for you.
Yeah, what you got?
Book 1.
Book 1.
Medical thriller /
Yeah.
mystery. I feel like historically not your favorite.
Lethal Dissection. I did go through a medical thriller phase.
You did
but
like
that
Silent
was
Patient, but
that what?
you did like Silent Patient. But that's not really even like.
No, I mean like Tess Gerritsen, like black market organs in like high school. He did bring me a toy.
Second book, we said no, you actually don't want to read that one because you DNF'd her other book.
Yes.
Third book.
Listen for the Lie. That was the
Yeah.
podcasty one.
Something about the way that back page is written feels teenage angsty. Now that could be good, but it also feels like it could be bad. And I think
Red.
if you're already
What?
borderline not loving some of your books, Red.
Oh my god, they're crooked. Reynold. Podcast one, you're like iffy on.
Podcast one I'm iffy on. I think could be very good, but if you're already borderline reading slump, that one has the potential to sink the ship.
Yeah.
Fourth one.
Love and Gelato.
I think could be good, but historically romances haven't been like your number one favorite thing. I think the last one sounds really, really interesting.
You
I
just
think
like it
you've
because
been
you
excited.
picked it at the store.
Yeah, because I'm amazing. But no, but actually, like, it actually sounds very, very interesting, and it sounds like something that you would very much enjoy to the point that you're gonna crank through it.
True.
Which is what you need right now.
That is really what I need right now. I was between that one, Love Mom, and the Listen for the Lie podcast one.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I think Listen for the Lie is what Kelly was telling me about is good as a audiobook.
Oh,
Which if
there
it's
you go.
like a podcast, like that would
Yeah,
make
it makes a lot
sense.
of sense.
Okay. So my L book is Love Mom. I'm sorry, I can't get past my glasses. They feel so crooked right now. Okay, so L is Love Mom, and I'll probably start it today just to have a little bit started, and then maybe read it all tomorrow. We'll see. I'll keep you updated. Hopefully this is better. This book has to be better. It has to be better. Okay, I haven't read much of this book to talk about. I read like 100 pages on my flight, and I've read a little bit more since then, so I'm a little over halfway through. It's definitely better than it was at 26%. It's still not great by any means. Like, I generally understand what the plot is. Like, they're trying to, like, save the club, and, like, there's a politician and all that, but the first book, like, followed, like, the hockey season, and then, like, halfway through something, like, happens, and then, like, you have the rest of the book to follow that. And, like, while this is a little bit a continuation on from that, I'm over halfway through the book, and, like, there still hasn't been anything, like, crazy that happens, and, like, I know it's, like, a fiction book, and, like, the point is that it just, like, follows a story, but I'm not even really sure what the story is, and I'm not attached enough to the characters to care. Like, it definitely, like, the first book was more driven by the story, and you had all these people that you were learning about, and now you're just getting glimpses into different characters' lives, but, like, not driven by anything, or driven by, like, the loosest plot ever. I'm glad I'm reading it, I guess. Like, I will be happy to have finished it, and maybe a plot will suddenly appear in the last quarter, but my hopes are not high.
Well, it only took 240 pages of this 430-page book for it to actually be interesting. I finally care a little bit. Not a lot. A little bit. Just a little bit. I finally care for reading this much. Just a little bit about this book. There's a politician that's like, he's a politician. I actually don't need to say anything more than that. And he's making me feel irrationally angry. But like, I guess like the beginning of the book kind of set it up for that, because like he was doing things that like were definitely shady, but now they're like really, really like messed up. But like, as much as it's about hockey, the book's not really about hockey. It's like the hockey town, but it's not really about hockey. Like the first book was like so about hockey. This one, I don't know. I'm glad that I'm still reading it. I'm definitely gonna finish it. I can't see myself reading the next book because it's so long. Wait, can I see your phone? It's 688 pages. And I just don't think I will read that. Ever. But yeah, maybe I'll actually finish the book because tomorrow I'm gonna have a lot of sit in a coffee shop and read time. So I think if I can finish this book before we get on the plane, I can finish my other book before we get home. And maybe start a third book. Then I'll really be back on my grind.
Yeah, you'll be cruising at that point.
I'm still not fully back. We're not back yet. We're almost back. We're almost back. This book is going to take right in the airport.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It'll be okay. You didn't say words there. That was just.
But I did. Ignore my water bottle spilled on the plane, and my book was in my bag, so my book is like crinkly. But I finished Us Against You, so that's a win. This book and I were beefing hardcore until like page 250, which like this book has like 430 pages, but still 250, that's like, it might have been later. It was 60, I know it was 62% of the way through the book. Whatever page would be 62% is where I started to like it. And then like within like the last 100 pages, like I was crying on the plane. I was literally crying on the plane. Brady had to hug me. I was a mess. I really liked it. I gave it, well, okay, no, I didn't really like the whole thing. I really liked the ending. I think I gave it like 3.25 stars. It was trending below 3 stars for a while as I was reading. I was like, yeah, this is like a 2.5 star read. And then I was like, oh no, maybe it's 3. And I wanted to give it higher than 3, but like 3.5, 4 felt like I didn't enjoy most of the book. I just enjoyed the ending, and therefore it shouldn't be getting like 3.5, 4 stars, because that's just like, that makes it sound like it was way better than it really was. With Beartown, there was like clearly like a plot, like there was like something that happened. It didn't happen until like a third to a half of the way through the book, but there was something that happened that was like the catalyst for all of this, and like everything, like the story was like following those people up until the thing that happened, and then following them after it happened. And like this in a way was like trying to save the club and like the things going on there, but like there wasn't like, this more felt like you have to like the characters, because then you're gonna like be following their story. Hi bud. Oh, thank you. I don't know. I was dead set on like not reading the third book for most of the time reading this, but then it got to the point and I was like, oh, like maybe I will read the third book. However, the third book is 688 pages, so that's like a big thing to take on. So I would maybe get the, no, I don't think I could. I was gonna say maybe I got the audiobook, but I don't think I could stay focused on the audiobook. I think I'd have to read this book. It also like changes perspective so much that like I feel like I would get confused. So I don't know, this might be a get the third book and like sit on the beach for an entire day and like just read the book, but I'm gonna take a break for it for now. I think if I were to try to read it right after reading this, I would go into a slump. This book almost put me into a slump as it is. I've barely started Love Mom, which is the next book that I'd be reading, because on the plane I did start Mistborn, which is a book that Brady has been begging me to read for so long. The problem is he already bought it on Kindle, so I was able to just download his Kindle purchase, except he bought it as like the trilogy, so it's kind of, I don't like that, like I can't see how far through the book I am. So I looked up how many pages like in that, like I went to the last page of the book in the Kindle and have just been like tracking it based on like what page I'm on, because in the physical book there's like 600, I think it was 680, no 680, I don't know, there was like just shy of 700 pages, and on the Kindle there's like just over 700 pages, so I'm about 6% done, which really is like not far at all, but I'm really liking it, and I didn't expect to be liking it this much. Anyway, that book is not part of this video, but I just wanted to briefly talk about that. I'm gonna try to alternate between reading Mistborn and really try to get into Love Mom. I think once I start reading Love Mom, it'll be really good. It's a mystery. Like, I think it'll just like capture my attention, because that's just the vibe I was getting from the book, was that it would capture my attention very easily. Like, it feels like a fun, quick mystery. I just haven't really read any of it. I think I might have started it, but I don't even remember, so I'm just gonna start it from the beginning regardless of where my bookmark is. I think I did read a couple pages of it, but I'm just gonna restart there because I don't remember what I read, and it'll just be easier that way. So I made myself some breakfast. It's just an egg sandwich. I'm not gonna show it because it's kind of a mess. It was like not my best eggs that I've ever made. I have like an hour and a half, 2 hours-ish before I have to leave. So we're gonna eat some breakfast, start some laundry, and yeah, I'm either gonna read Mistborn or Love Mom. If I read Love Mom, you'll join me. If I read Mistborn, I'll see you later. Okay, so I started Love Mom while I was waiting, and I'm on chapter 7, and then I also remembered that I have it on Audible because my friend bought it, and so I like have it logged into her account, and I started the Audible and the opening credits played, and hold on, like I need to turn this up. Listen to this.
Love Mom, written by Ileana Zander, narrated by Kira Fix, Laura Horowitz, Walker Williams, Melissa Redmond, Patria Burchard, and Travis Horner.
That's so many people. That's so many narrators. Like how, like I've only had one POV. Like how many so I'm a little shocked. Well, okay, so there's like a prologue, and the prologue was narrated in one voice, and then there's the main character Mackenzie, and then there's been her perspective only, so that's one other voice. So I don't like what's coming for us. How many? That's 6 different voices. That's kind of crazy. Oh, there's also letters, so that's a different voice. So that's 3 voices right there. What are the other 3? I don't want to spoil this, but I'm like so curious. Really no, but that was just a lot of people, and it kind of caught me off guard. So far I'm loving it. I actually am excited to listen to it while I drive. I used to be team like listening to books is not reading, and like listening is not reading. No, but I think there is something to listening to audiobooks. Like you still are getting the story and comprehending, especially like when you listen, go back and forth between listening and reading. I think a book is really, really, really good if you have people going back and forth between reading and listening, because like I only listen when I can't sit down and read, and I only go back and forth like that if like a story is really good and I want to hear what's going on. So I think it's like a huge compliment to authors when people go back and forth between reading and listening, because you're still like hearing their words and like getting the story, but like that just means that you can't put the book down.
This book is such like an easy read. The mystery is like, I guess it's super page turning if I'm getting through it so quickly, but like it's, I don't know how to explain it, where it's not like The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, where it's like, oh my god, but like I'm super curious, and like the main character is figuring things out as like we're going through it, and like there's definitely some super sus people that like I could see going either way, where I think that this person might be, I have a couple theories, and there's one character where like I can't tell if the author is trying to make them seem suspicious, or if like they actually are suspicious and like the main character's just not picking up on it. But I have some theories about who is sending her the letters. That's really the only theory that I have, because like the rest of it, like I'm still not entirely, because like we're getting bits and pieces of the mom story through the letters. I don't know, it's like I want to know what happens there, but it doesn't like feel like the mystery part. But like I want to know who is sending her the letters, really want to know who's sending the letters. And then I think there's something up with the dad, but like I really like have nothing to base it off of. He's just kind of sus overall. He seems like kind of a shitty person, and he's just kind of like a little sus. So I'm on page 140, chapter 24. Not sure my camera malfunctioning before, but it seems to be functioning now. Anyway, I finished. I kind of hated the ending, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of hated who was sending the letters, because you find out, like, of course. Kind of hated that. The rest of it was like good. I think it's like a 3-star book, but like there was a point in the book where it kind of felt like it was like, okay, we're losing reality a bit. Like I don't know, it's like this is starting to feel like super unrealistic, but then it kind of reined itself back in. There was just like one moment, but then it kind of reined itself back in, and the ending before the last chapter was really good, and I really, really liked it. And like there's like a final like plot twist at the end that was incredible. Could have never predicted that. Loved it. Actually, I lie, because I kind of did think about it earlier. I was like, oh, I feel like this might be the case, but then it just like felt so irrelevant and like was never kind of like brought up again. But when it happened, I was like, oh, that's a really good plot twist. Did kind of guess it, but the last chapter was just like, it's when you find out who's sending the letters, and I had a guess of who it was, and I was very wrong, just very, very incorrect. But the person who was sending the letters, it was just so disappointing, and like it felt like it made sense, and it definitely wasn't like an afterthought. Like it was tied in throughout the book, so like you could possibly guess it, but like at the same time it did feel like a little bit of like a like cop out cheap way to go with the letters. Like I thought it was going to be something kind of crazy, but overall the book was fine. It was good. Between 3 or 3.5 stars. This means we need to pick our iBook. So I need to pick an iBook. I have a list of iBooks here, but I want to look at my shelf and see if I have any iBooks that I need to, that like are on my physical TBR before I pick from there. This is my stack of TBR for the month, and none of those start with an I. So let's go take a meander and see if my other TBR shelf has anything that starts with an I. I don't think it does, to be honest with you. actually, we have The Immortalist, If He Had Been With Me, and then Brady has somewhere the book Immortal Longings. Okay, so that's a couple books. I don't know if I want to read any of this. I know I don't want to read Immortalists. I think I would like Immortal Longings, but I'm also reading Mistborn right now, so I don't think I want to do 2 fantasy books. So that leaves If He Had Been With Me, and to be honest, I'm just not feeling being hurt like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 books. Let's see what this gives us. Pick a number between 1 and 7. 6. That'd be I Found You by Lisa Jewell. I don't know if I've ever read a Lisa Jewell book, to be completely honest with you. Please tell me why it's $42 on Amazon. Why is it $42? Or $14 for the Kindle? I don't want to spend that much money on a book. Pick a number between 1 and 6. If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. Let's look on Amazon. Ooh. It's free on Audible. Is it free on... It's also Kindle Unlimited. Okay, this is the cover. I don't know if this is like the normal cover or if this is just the Amazon cover. Let's read the description. Oliver Marks has just served 10 years in jail for a murder he may or may not have committed. On the day he's released, he's greeted by the man who put him in prison. Detective Colborne is retiring. Before he does, he wants to know what really happened a decade ago. As one of 7 young actors studying Shakespeare at an elite arts college, Oliver and his friends play the same roles on stage and off. Hero, villain, tyrant, temptress. But when the casting changes and the secondary characters... I don't know what that word is. The play spills dangerously over into life, and one of them is found dead. The rest face their greatest acting challenge yet, convincing the police and themselves that they are blameless. Intelligent, thrilling, and richly detailed. If We Were Villains is a captivating story of the enduring power and passion of words. Great. Sounds good. Read for free. Oh, turns out I'm not signed in. Oh, it's actually not free on Audible. It just said that because if you purchased, if you bought an Audible subscription, it's a credit on Audible, which, like, I don't know if you want to call that free. Okay, 370 pages, that's pretty good. Add to library. Started with part 1 and now we're at scene 1, so I think it's kind of set up like either reading a play would be or like the script of a play would be, because they're all theater kids. So that's what we've got. And it starts with the main character in prison, and I assume it's the cop who put him there, who's retired, who actually wants to know like the real story, is coming to ask him for that. But that's just like kind of crazy to be like, yeah, like this is the cop that put him in jail, who like knows that this isn't the real story. So this kid served 10 years. He said a third of his life, so I'm assuming he got sent to jail around when he was 20 and is around 30 now, would be my guess, especially if they were college kids. But like, crazy for the cop who put you in jail to be like, okay, so I know you didn't actually do it and now tell me the real story. That's just crazy. I have it? Guys, why am I in such a, like, I don't know if I want to call it a slump, but like, I'm currently reading 3, okay, I started 4 books, but I put one of them down and we're like, I read like 3 pages of it, but I have 4 books actively started. So we're just gonna say I'm reading 3 though, because of that one that like barely started. But I'm like 50 something pages into Mistborn. I feel like I've been reading If We Were Villains forever, and I'm only like 35 pages in, because I just keep reading it in such small stints, so I haven't made like any real progress. I'm 9% done with the book. I'm on page 34.
And I'm just like slowly trudging my way through. And then I listened to like 3 hours of an audio. What was I even listening to? Oh, with Beautiful Ugly. I'd say I'm like a third of the way through. I listened to about 3 hours and I have 4.5 left. So I'm like almost halfway there. I'm all over the place. I just can't get through a book apparently. I think I don't know if I'm gonna, okay. I haven't decided if I'm gonna fully pause Mistborn or not. I was enjoying it. So I don't know why I would do that. But I was originally gonna kind of like rig my A book because I want to read Zodiac Academy, and the first book is The Awakening, so that's an A book. But I don't want to read The Awakening at the same time as Mistborn, and so I don't know which one I want to read. I just don't know what other A books I have, so I don't think I'm gonna. I think I might put a pause on Mistborn until I finish this little reading challenge. And then I'll go back to Mistborn. And then the audiobook doesn't really count because it's just, I only have it as an audiobook. But like, it like counts as like a book, but it doesn't count. Like, it's like, I just will listen to it when I'm driving. And tomorrow I'll have about 2 hours of driving. So I'll get a good chunk of the way through. And like, as I'm doing things around the apartment, I'll listen. So we're not really going to count that either. So I just really have Mistborn and If We Were Villains going at the same time. I don't know. I think I want to pick my A book. I was gonna pick it out of a hat, but I didn't feel like writing all of the books down. So I'm gonna gather all of the books that I have that start with an A, and then we're also gonna look at the books that I have like not on my physical TBR, and then we'll just go from there. Okay, so I have 3 books that are on my physical TBR that are A books. These 2, the Angel Creek Girls, we're not gonna count but we're gonna count for A Feather So Black. This book would definitely be like an easy mystery. It's pretty short. It's 330 pages, so really not bad at all. I like Leslie Wolfe. The book that I read for like 3 pages of is also a Leslie Wolfe book, and I just like kind of put it on the back burner. I really like Leslie Wolfe. Not sure I want to read this one though. A Feather So Black. This is my June book club book. Book club is June 16th. This is a hefty book. This is like 460 something pages, so I probably need to get started on it soon, but like not really, because I could just like sit and read it in a couple days if I really put my mind to it. But this is a book club book. Do need to read this soon. I also just really like the cover, and it's written by a local author, which I think is super fun. Guys, this book is signed. Oh my god, wait, I didn't know that. That's so exciting. I did not know this was a signed copy. I got it at the local bookstore so it used to be where my book club was, and now we're changing location so more people can go, which I think is awesome. But I bought this at the book club, at like the bookstore that we were having book club, because they gave us 20% off for buying it like right then with the book club. And so I was like, yeah, like I'm gonna have to buy the book at some point, like let me buy it from this indie bookstore and get a discount, like sure. I didn't know that it was signed. Okay, so this is an option. And then we have A Marvelous Light, which is another fantasy book that I bought like forever ago. I think I bought it January, November. I don't remember when I was in Virginia. I think it was January. But this is on my May TBR. The TBR jar chose this book. I don't remember what prompt it was, but go watch my video and you can find out. And TJ Klune has a review on the back, and I really like TJ Klune. I like the first book that I wrote. I didn't write a book. I like the first book that I read of his, The House in the Cerulean Sea. I didn't love the second one, like Beyond the Cerulean Sea. It was like good. It just like felt a little forced in places, but I think he was setting up for a third book that would be good. But that's besides the point. We're back, and I grabbed Zodiac Academy. These covers I feel like are doing too much. Anyway, because like the title here is up here. It's The Awakening. But it's a Zodiac Academy series. That's how it's big. Anyway, not the point. This is also a hefty book. It's like 500 pages. So, definitely a little bit longer than this one. But still, yeah. Anyway, let's read the back. I'm a Gemini, impulsive, curious, headstrong, a twin, heir to a throne I know nothing about, and it turns out I'm Fae. But of course, just a catch. All I have to do is claim my birthright, is prove that I'm the most powerful supernatural in the world, in the whole of Solaria. And sure, technically that's true, as I'm the daughter of the Savage King, but the bit that they didn't put in the brochure was that every single Fae in this kingdom would claim my throne if they could. In this deadly academy, vampires bite weaker students in the corridors, and the werewolf pack has
orgies with the wailing wood at every full moon, and don't even get me started on the twisted ways the sirens use their power on people's emotions, or how my sinfully tempting cardinal magic professor hosts attentions that leave people needing therapy. Classes are totally interesting if you manage to live through them, and that Gemini star sign I mentioned, it now determines my elemental magic and affects my destiny, so learning astrology is essential if I'm going to beat down my classmates, which is actively encouraged, by the way. My biggest problem is the dark-hearted dragon shifter who has his eyes on my throne, and him and his 3 psycho friends are determined to make my time here hell. All I've got to do is survive, but fate might have other ideas. Damn it, why couldn't I have gotten a letter to Hogwarts? That's funny. I actually have never read the back of this book. I am very excited for this book. I'm torn. Three fantasy books, and I didn't want to read a fantasy, and that's what I'm stuck between is 3 fantasy books. I'm excited to read all of these books, but I don't think they'll all pull me out of this little mini slump that I've been... Okay, you know what? Let's call it what it is. I'm in a slump. Since I read The Sunrise on the Reaping, like, I have not sped through a book. I have not super enjoyed books. I've read a handful of books since then, but, like, I haven't loved any of them. So I need a good book. So, as excited as I am to read A Feather So Black, I think we're gonna have to put this down, and this is not gonna be the book that pulls me out of my slump. Maybe it will be, but I just, like, I don't know. I am very excited to read this book, though. I'm having so much trouble picking. Okay. Yeah, no, we're gonna put this down. We can go to it after. We can go back to this. Just because we're putting you down doesn't mean we cannot read you. Okay. Eeny, meeny, miny, up. Catch a tiger by the toe. If you holler, let him go. Oh, you. Wait, is the one that I pick the one that goes away or the one that I choose? I think that's the one that goes away, right? I think I'm okay with that. Yeah, we'll put that down. Which leaves Zodiac Academy. You know what? We're gonna read the first, 3 pages of all of these books, and then I will come back. Okay, so I'm, only here on page 2, and I just, couldn't even tell you what I tried on the first page. I don't know. It's not... I think the first chapter is, a different time because the character's name is not one of the 2 main characters. So, I don't know. Maybe it gets better. I'm sure it does get better. I'll read this at some point. This is not it, per se. Let's read the first page or so of A Feather So Black. Okay, we're off to a good start. I'm reading the dedication. And it says, for anyone who has ever doubted if they were the main character in their own story, you are. Love that. Okay. And then I flip to the first page, and it's this little poem, I think, or song. Then chapter 1 has, this cute little, graphic. I actually am, really liking this book. I read to page 5. The only thing I don't like is that, okay, so normally in fantasies, I do have a lot of trouble pronouncing some of the names and places and stuff, but I can usually get something in my head. But some of this stuff is, I'm very curious as to what the origins of it are, because I don't think it's made up, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Rothnamara, sure, but whatever's below it, I don't know. And then up here, the High Queen's name, I would love to know where these words come from and how to pronounce them. Maybe I can look it up, but... Okay, so Feather So Black is definitely in the running. And now we're gonna read some of Zodiac Academy. I think this book is just a really hyped up book for me that, I'm scared to start it because what if I don't like it? And I'm very, I want to like it. I like this dedication too! This book is dedicated to anyone who's ever felt that they don't belong in this world and whose heart has always pined for captivating magic, soul-bursting love, and fearless adventure. Let the space between these pages welcome you home time and time again on your journey into our fantasy land. Okay, I'll be so honest with you. Whenever there's a map, I don't look at it. I don't ever look at it. Maybe I'll reference it during the book, but yeah, this means nothing to me, this map. So I accidentally just kept sitting and reading, and I'm on chapter 3 now, so I think this is the book that we're... Okay, so I'm on, page 81 of Zodiac Academy, and I was a little bit hesitant because it said fae and fairies and stuff, and honestly, since reading ACOTAR, I've been really against anything that's fae or fairy because I feel like that doesn't need an explanation. But it's not fae fairies with
pointy ears and whatever else like that. It's just like the back of the book says something about a Hogwarts letter, but it's really kind of giving Harry Potter, except with like different magic and like zodiac signs. So I don't know, like it's like, okay, these are people who do magic instead of like these are like super like mythical creatures who do whatever they do. I don't know, like they're fae, but like it doesn't feel like fae that I had pictured in my head. That makes sense?
It does. But it's not like fae fantasy. It's just fae lore-ish based.
Yeah. Yeah. Did he just dig in his empty toy bin? You take all your toys out, that's why there's none in your toy bin. You take them all out. This book is so good. I'm like halfway through. I absolutely love it. I've already read like over 200 pages and like it doesn't even feel like I've read over 200 pages. Like in other cases that would be the whole book and it just doesn't even feel like that. Like absolutely am loving this so far. It feels like a more adult Harry Potter is kind of what I'm getting. Which is kind of funny because on the back of the book, the like last like bit says, damn it, why couldn't I have gotten a letter to Hogwarts? So nowhere in the book has Harry Potter at all been referenced. However, it like really, it feels like adult Harry Potter and I am obsessed. I haven't decided what I'm going to do about If We Were Villains. I don't know if I'll go back to it when I finish Zodiac Academy or if we're going to like, I think I would maybe soft DNF it. I don't think I'd full DNF it because like I think there's a time when like this book could be good, but I just don't know if the time is right now. So I'm toying with the idea of soft DNFing this. I haven't read it since I started Zodiac Academy and I don't plan to read it until I finish Zodiac Academy. But I have a feeling when I finish Zodiac Academy I'm going to want to read the second one. So we'll see. I'm not really sure. I really didn't want to DNF 2 books, which is part of why I forced myself through Us Against You. But maybe I should have just DNF'd that because I think that pushed me further into the slump that I was falling into after Sunrise and the Reaping. Like, I think I should have not forced myself to read Frederick Backman. It was not the time. And then I forced myself to read that. And then Love, Mom was good. But now we have If We Were Villains. And, like, I didn't want to DNF a second book in the same video. However, it might just need to happen. But it would be, if I DNF this, it'll be a soft DNF. So we're just toying with the idea. It's not official yet. I'm over halfway done with Zodiac Academy, The Awakening. I love it. I love this book so much. It's getting me out of my slump. And I ordered the second one. Oh, they're like different. They're not. They just feel different. This one, you can probably tell, it's like a lot more shiny. But I got the second book. I deep dived a bit today to try to figure out like what order I should be reading it. I did a full like deep dive on TikTok of what order to read these books in. And so I came up with reading Zodiac Academy books 1 through 3. So I have 1, I'm gonna read 2, and I'll get 3. Then the Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac books 1 through 5, that's the full series. And then the Zodiac Academy Origins of an Academy Bully, which is like the 0.5 novella. It's like this tiny little novella. But I did see that you can skip the novellas if you want to. But I'll probably read that one. And then Zodiac books 4 and 5, which apparently are like, there's a lot that happens and they're like intense. I think book 3 leaves off on like a huge cliffhanger, but then the characters that are in the Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac, which takes place 5 years before Zodiac Academy, are make an appearance in book 4. So like you want to like have their backstory before. So then read books 4 and 5, and then the novella The Big ASS Party, which I might skip that one, unsure, we'll see how we feel when we get there. Then book 6, and then the authors say to read Zodiac Academy The Awakening as told by the boys after book 6, but it's literally the same book but from the boys' perspective, which sounds awesome, but like I don't know, we'll see how we're doing that, because this is a lot and I have trouble committing to series this long, but I want to get through this, so we might not read The Awakening as told by the boys. Then to read book 7, and then I saw to do a tandem read of book 8 and 8.5, because 8.5 is the same story as 8 but told from a different perspective, so we'll see there. And then to read Zodiac Academy book 9. And then after book 9, read the Darkmoor Penitentiary series, which is 4 books, and that takes place 5 years after Zodiac Academy. And then there's the book Neverkeep, which I didn't fully understand, like, what, if that's, like, I think it's, like, a new series, but I'm not entirely sure, so don't quote me on that.
Anyway, we're gonna take this step by step though. We're gonna start with finishing the first book and then reading the second book and the third book. And then I probably will jump on over to this Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac. But who knows what we'll do with the novellas, and if I'll keep reading the the Darkmoor Penitentiary series after. That'll be when we get there. So I made the decision, and I'm soft DNFing if we were villains. I think I'll like it at some point. I think that point is not right now. I'm a little sad by this because this has been on my TBR actually for a really long time, and I wanted to read it, but I just like, it took me forever to read, like, well, let me see what page I'm on. I'm literally on page 34, and I feel like I've been reading this book for like a week now, so I also have no desire to read it. I couldn't tell you what's going on. There's too many characters for me to follow along with. Like, there's 7 of them, I think, which is just a lot of people. And then also they're like acting in a play, so then you have the actual character, and then you have who they're playing, and some of them are playing 2 different people, and I just like, I can't keep up right now. I think eventually I'll be able to keep up, because like you can kind of tell who is like a main character that actually matters versus who's a main character that's like actually just kind of a side character. Like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes. No, it does make sense.
That makes sense, okay. Yeah, because like there's 7 people in this friend group. All 7 of them cannot be a main character. Or at least all 7 of them cannot be a main character at the same time. So like we can go through waves of like different people mattering more. And I was kind of getting a sense of who mattered more right now. But there just were still way too many names, and I couldn't keep them straight. I kind of struggle with that a little bit. That's my beige flag, red flag, whatever you want to call it, when it comes to reading, is if there's too many characters, I'm out. I just can't do it. Which is honestly shocking that I'm okay with Zodiac Academy, because there's the 2 girls, their 2 friends, the 4 boys, the professor, the other girl, this other, like, there's so many people, but I can keep them all straight. And I think it's partly because, I was saying this to Brady the other day, of like, some fantasy books feel very overwhelming to me because you just hop into this magical world that the characters already fully know and understand, and you're just like, what is going on? Or at least I'm like, what is going on? But with this one, the girls have no idea about this world and this magic system and anything, so like they're learning about it and we're learning about it with them, so it's really easy to catch on. And it's also like not a super complicated, like, I mean, I don't really know things about like zodiac signs and astrology and stuff like that, so like I'm missing that knowledge there, but like it's not a hard magic system to follow along with or keep up with, or a hard world to keep track of things. There are a lot of orders, and like there's a lot of star signs, but it's not super difficult to follow along. I will say I do get mixed up with who is what order, and I forget remembering what is it called? The 4 powers, Brady.
The 4 what?
Like air, wind, nope, those are the same thing. Air, water,
Earth and fire.
earth and fire. What would that be called?
The elements.
Elements, yeah, thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Okay,
I just
great.
I couldn't think of it.
That's like, I don't.
I can kind of keep track of what characters are what order, but I can't really keep track of who is what element. That's just too much for me. I need like I think Rebecca Yarros did that in the start of Fourth Wing, right? Where she has like a diagram. I read it on my Kindle, so I didn't get like the full effect of it, but like she has like the like these people are part of this wing, this is the section leader, like all of that. Like
You want a flow chart.
I need a flow chart, which I probably could find super easily online. I just don't want to spoil anything for myself, like what their order is. I don't know what to rate this. I'm somewhere between I think 3.5 and 4 stars, but I think I'm gonna go with 4 stars because I did stay up until 2:30 in the morning last night reading this, so there's that. I read the bonus chapter, didn't like it. The bonus chapter, didn't like it, didn't need to read it, but the ending of this was crazy. I feel like for such a long book, like nothing like there's no like big major thing, you know, like there's a lot of like little things and like you can see it building for the rest of the series, but like it feels like the whole series is the story, and instead of like each book has its own story but there's something that ties it all together. Like I'm thinking of like Harry Potter where like each book is a different year in school and there's something happening that year, but then there's also like getting rid of like the Horcruxes and stuff like that that ties all the books together even before you like know that that's part of the story. But like I feel like with this book it's like the series is the story and each book is like a section of that, if that makes sense. This definitely helped get me out of my reading slump. I'm glad I read it. I was like kind of putting it off because I thought I would enjoy it. I was waiting to read this book because I thought I'd really like it, which is silly.
It's on brand.
But yeah, I'm glad I read it. I already have the second book, which is Ruthless Fae. I really like this one better. I don't like, this one feels cheaply made. Like, it just feels a lot cheaper. The pages feel thinner. It just feels cheaply made, but that's okay. So I'll probably start this now. I finished my books that spell my name. I wish I had them all as physical books and I could hold them out and be like, Julia, but I don't, so too bad. Oh well. What books did I even read for this? I don't even remember anymore. Let me look at my Fable. We DNF'd Just the Nicest Couple by Mary Kubica. Us Against You gave it, I think it was 3.25 stars. Love Mom, 3 stars. And then we DNF'd If We Were Villains and just finished The Awakening with 4 stars.